I'd like to call the regular board meeting of the Huron Valley Schools, April 15th, to order. Denise, may I have a roll call, please?
Sure. Ms. Grzymkowski.
Here.
Mr. Dimick.
Here.
Ms. Ryan.
Here.
Ms. Dodd.
Here.
I am present. Ms. Cotter.
Here.
And Mr. Wiseman.
Here.
All present.
Do we all stand? All right. You have in front of you the agenda for tonight. May I have a motion to accept the agenda as presented?
All right, I'll move to approve the Board of Education agenda as presented.
Motion has been made by Member Ryan. Do I have a second?
I'll support that.
Seconded by Member Cotter. Any questions, any comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Oh, yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Grzymkowski.
Yes.
Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
And Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Before we begin the actual meeting, I'd like to point out to those people that are in the audience that over on the right by the door, we have a citizens participation form. I'd like to thank all of you for attending tonight's Huron Valley School Board of Education meeting. As always, we welcome our community's comments and input. A public comment segment is available for 15 minutes, which includes both action and non-action items during Section 3 of the agenda. Additional comments as it relates to non-action items is provided towards the end of the meeting in Section 7. If you do have any comments, please pass them on to Ms. Cadell over here, and you will be recognized. Participants will have 3 minutes to present their comments when recognized by myself. And according to board policy, I will then turn your comments over to our superintendent, if appropriate, for his response and for his work through the week to respond to any comments that we might have. This is not a time for us to have conversations, but it's a time for us to listen. Next on the agenda is, I believe, the comments as items from the board president. I do have just one brief comment, and that is as it relates to May 7th. On behalf of the entire Huron Valley Board of Education, I want to emphasize just how essential this measure is for the continued success and improvement of our school district. This bond will fund necessary upgrades to our facilities, ensuring that our schools remain safe, welcoming, and conducive to high standards of education that our community expects. We encourage everyone to participate in this vote. It's a pivotal opportunity to shape the future of our educational system and opportunities for our students and to make a lasting positive impact on our students' lives. With that, I'd like to turn it over to recognition, Huron Valley Highlights, Teacher of the Year recipients. Dr. Salah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, everyone. At this point, I would invite Ms. Barb Rothler to the podium.
Good evening. Each year, the Huron Valley School District honors 3 teachers, one from the elementary level, one from the middle school, and one from the high school, as the Huron Valley School Teachers of the Year. These individuals exemplify the true spirit of dedication, inspiration, and passion in the field of education. Let's take a look at this year's 3 honorees.
Anybody want to expand on that? Clara? My name is Michelle Bickle. I teach at Johnson Elementary. I teach 2nd grade, and I've been teaching for, I think this is like my 31st year, and I love it. I have an absolute passion working with children. I love seeing the smiles on their faces and when they learn something new. What led me to teaching was I started looking for a job actually like my senior year, and I applied for a position at a daycare center. and just loved it. And within like a few weeks, they had me teaching the kindergarten class, and I loved it, and went home and told my mom we need to change my high school prep from nursing to education. So we made an appointment with the counselor, and I went into education. And you are exactly right. Letters that are at the end of the word. Nice job, sweetheart. I come into work each day because I have an absolute total passion for teaching still, even after all these years. I still have a great need to be with the kids and help them learn. I love making the kids feel comfortable. And I always wanted to provide a non-threatening environment, happy, relaxing environment for the kids to learn in.
Boys and girls, how are you today? I'm Dr. Salon, the superintendent here, and we're here because your teacher has been named the Elementary Teacher of the Year for all of Huron Valley.
It was pretty amazing. I didn't really know the process of it or anything, so when they presented that to me, it was like, oh my gosh. I was actually kind of shocked because I do have so many staff members that help me with things.
One dossier or folder per group. Are you good? Groups of 1 to 3 are perfect.
My name's Tony Mango. I teach at White Lake Middle School, and this is my 13th year.
Civil War's coming to an end. Let's recap 2 dates.
So I come from a family of educators. Both of my parents taught my dad in the district for a long time. And I always liked the idea of trying to make learning fun for students. Based on my school experience, I had great teachers and mentors and wanted to do the same. I think to be a teacher, there are a lot of moments that stick out to you. It's those little moments that you have every day with the kids when something clicks, that's important. And then when they come back and talk to you and check in and say how great they're doing in whatever trade or college they're at, that certainly makes the work we do here at the middle school level well worth it. Every day I look forward to seeing the kids, and you know, every day there's different positives and negatives that happen or challenges that happen, but that's what makes this job fun. Every hour is different, and that's what makes it enjoyable.
So I've got some pretty cool news. So your teacher, Mr. Mango, has been named the Huron Valley Schools Middle School Teacher of the Year.
It was a huge shock. I had no idea. We have such a great staff here, so to be selected as this is a huge honor. And then administration had my family come in, which was a huge surprise. It was great.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Grubb, and I'm a special education teacher at Milford High School.
Your job first is to put your name on it, and then you need to get glue and scissors.
I have always liked helping people, helping kids, and I was in an elementary program thinking about teaching, and I thankfully had a counselor that pulled me aside and said, hey, have you ever thought about special ed? And kind of steered me in that direction, and once I got in, I was sold. My very first week teaching, I was an elementary teacher at Heritage First, and walking in and connecting with those kids and seeing them light up and feeling so excited about waking up every day to go to work really reminded me that I was on the right path. And then there have been a million moments since then with helping students and watching them grow and change and be successful that have really highlighted my life. I come into work today because I love my class. I think I have the best kids in the district. I like watching them and learning with them. We have a great time. It is fun to be here. It's exciting to be here. I have a great team that supports my students. So I look forward to working with my kids.
So, Ms. Grubb, you have been named the Teacher of the Year for all of Valley Schools, school level. Thank you. We're incredibly proud of you.
It was a very nice surprise. I have done this for a long time, and I feel very honored to have this position. I felt honored to be picked, and certainly feel honored to represent our special ed teams and population in our district.
Now, if we could have board members Jacob Dimick and Michelle Ryan to join me as we formally introduce us to our 3 Huron Valley Schools Teachers of the Year.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Dimick, obviously, and this is Michelle. We are here tonight. It is our honor to be able to present these to you tonight. Excuse me. If we can get the following to join us: Michelle Bickle and Johnson Elementary Principal Josh Gignac.
Tony Mango and White Lake School Principal Michelle Chitkowski.
And Jennifer Grubb and Milford High Principal Kevin McKenna.
Each of you received your certificate at your surprise, and Jacob is going to hand you these special coins we also wanted to give you. We also wanted to thank you for your dedication to all your students and to Huron Valley Schools, that you all exemplify what it means to build and inspire students, or one student at a time. Yeah, so congratulations, thank you.
We'd like to open it up for comments from the board before we take a group picture, so if you guys.
Anyone have any comments? Yes, Lindsay.
Yes, it's just always an honor to see some of Huron Valley's finest. Congratulations to all of you. Well done. Thank you.
Any other comments? On behalf of the rest of the board, I just want to say thank you. We are very, very blessed to have you as part of the Huron Valley family and all the lives that you have touched over the many years that you've been part of our family. So thank you very much.
And we're not quite done with recognitions tonight because we do have so many awesome teachers in this district. We also want to take a moment to recognize an Oak Valley Middle School educator who was recently awarded Educator of the Year by the Michigan Association of Middle School Educators, Mrs. Jennifer Day, who is a science teacher and the department chair at Oak Valley. So if Ms. Day, along with her principal, Ms. Durso, and Amy Grzynkowski can join me now.
This is a great honor for me. Mrs. Day taught at least one of my sons. I know that she is an educator who can take very complex ideas, very complex concepts, and distill them and make them accessible for middle school students. She is a credit to her profession. She has honed her skills, and Huron Valley is better because of Mrs. Day. So on behalf of the board, in my losing voice, we want to present you with this certificate of achievement for your being nominated and being selected as the Middle School Teacher of the Year. In addition, we are giving you this beautiful coin, which is inscribed with our motto, which is inspiring and building futures, one student at a time, and you absolutely exemplify that. Thank you.
Before we let you go, and we have to take a picture, any comments from the board?
Any comments? once again, thank you. We are truly, truly honored to have you as one of our teachers, and the lives that, once again, that you impact on a daily basis is so much appreciated and so respected. So thank you very much.
Get a picture, and the board will have to get back up and. And that wraps it up for recognitions tonight.
We've recognized our wonderful teachers. Now we get to recognize some students in some schools, and I'll turn that over to Dr. Salah.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We're going to start off this evening with the proud principal of Johnson Elementary School, Mr. Janak.
That was very kind of you, thank you. So as Dr. Salah said, I'm Mr. G, the principal of Johnson Elementary, and I'm honored to be here tonight, and I want to say thank you to the board for giving Johnson the opportunity to share with you in the community just one of the many points of pride at Johnson. This is my 10th year as principal at Johnson. Ooh. All right. This is my 10th year as principal at Johnson, and sans a couple of years because of COVID. I've had the opportunity to do this a few times. And over the years, we've highlighted such things as community service learning projects with blankets across the valley. I don't know how many were around here for that. Our fourth graders make blankets for students at Huron Valley Sinai. We've talked about Jaguar Pride last year as our building-wide PBIS system. Leadership with Mrs. Armstrong back when we had our student leaders my first year 10 years ago. And tonight, I'm honored to be here to present to you, and in the spirit of being a AAA district, the arts at Johnson, specifically our specials teachers. So what I'd like to do is, I'm thinking we share a video. It's a masterpiece in my opinion, so shout out to Mr. Mahler, our tech instructor, who we'll be honoring here tonight as well, for making the video, as well as our specials team, whom I'll introduce, for providing the content for the video. So before we get into the video, I would like to take a moment to introduce our specials teachers. So if you hear your name and want to smile or stand or take a bow, whatever you feel is most appropriate, you may. So joining us tonight, we have our tech instructor, Mr. Mahler. For PE, physical education, don't call that gym. That's PE. Gym is where it takes place. PE is the class. It's Mr. Brown joining us tonight. For music, we have Mr. Scarborough. And joining us for art, we have Miss Robinson. I'm not sure if Mrs. Wilson is here tonight, but we have Miss Robinson with us tonight as well. And the coolest thing is that we're joined by some Jaguars tonight who are really the stars of the show. So what I would like to do is we'll take a look at the video, and then if my Jaguars are brave enough, I'll introduce you after the video, and we can... Did you see their faces? For some, this is the first time hearing this, but it's okay. Here's what we're going to do. You are going to have an opportunity to take a picture with the board, Mr. G, and I'm thinking maybe answer a question or two from the board. I know we'll have some brave Jaguars that would be willing to do that, if that's okay with everybody. So at this point, I want to make sure that we get into the video because I believe it's about 8 minutes. So if we want to start the video, I'll take a seat, and afterwards we'll have our Jaguars come up. Sound like a plan? All right. At Johnson Elementary, we take great pride in living into the district mission of inspiring and building futures one student at a time. Our staff of educators consistently goes above and beyond to build relationships with every student and seek out what it is that motivates and inspires them. Oftentimes, that connection is made outside of the general education classroom and occurs in what are commonly referred to as our specials. Join us as we take a deeper look into our technology, physical education, music, and art classrooms and see firsthand what it is that truly makes them special.
Hi guys, it's Jude Hager here, and I'm here to tell you about a game called Interlane. Learned a lot of stuff like how to cut video parts out, how to make the video shorter and add a lot of music, and the green screen too.
So how do you do it?
You colored this picture, right?
So you color the picture, and then once you turn, then it's gonna stay until it turns purple. Then you can go down, and you'll see it. I'm a spider, and I make webs to catch my food. I'm a cat, and I love to live with people.
Alexa, can you tell us about what you're doing with the program called Tinkercad?
I'm making 3D items for the printer. I've made a pencil topper with a duck, a dog, and my name on a keychain.
Do you think it's important to learn these things?
Yes, I do.
Why?
Because if you want to get a good job, usually you have to know technology.
You can do many things in PE, like sports, getting exercise, doing drills, and getting healthier. My favorite things to do in PE is basketball, soccer, and doing planks.
Nice roll! What's your most favorite thing to do in music class?
Probably the dances.
And why?
I do because it's really fun to learn new things and do it with your friends.
What do you think you learned by doing folk dancing?
Well, I learned how to work together mostly and have fun.
Face your partner, here we go. Kennedy, tell me about your dancing in music class.
It's fun because when you skip around, like, when you do it, you can, like, go around the room, so you can, like, express yourself.
What's your favorite part of art class?
To paint, and that there's no right or wrong. You can be creative, and you can, like, make your own project.
What's your favorite thing to do in art class?
I like to use different materials and make stuff out of clay.
As you can see, the arts are alive and well here at Johnson. We hope you enjoyed our video, and a sincere thank you to the staff and students of Jaguar Country for making Johnson a truly special place to be. Awesome job. Thank you. So although not comprehensive, it gives you a bit of a glimpse into what happens every day at Johnson in our arts and our specials. Again, thank you to Mr. Mahler and the team, Mr. Mahler for creating the video and the team for the content. And now the true stars of the show are Jaguars. If you could come up, I think I see mostly everybody here. Alexa, come on up. Alexa Poster. Well, let's give them a round of applause as they come up. You probably saw Alexa in the video. Grace Lord, I think I saw Grace around here. Where are you, Grace? Come on up, Grace. Is Jude Hager? I didn't see Jude yet. I don't see Jude here. How about Bobby Lulick? I saw Bobby. Give Bobby a round of applause. Luke DeBias. Luke, no. Claire Meal. Come on up, Claire. There you are. I saw Maxton over there. Come on up, Maxton. I think one of our board members may know this person. Kennedy O'Keefe. Come on up. Kennedy. Brooke. Brooke, are you here tonight? No, Brooke. How about, I saw Paige. Paige, come on up. All right, Jaguars, come on over a little bit closer. Come on down. Alexa, come on down. And let's turn your bodies. Follow me, Paige. Come on out here. Come on out here. Claire. So here's our crew. Come on over. Turn your bodies a little bit. Let's face the board. And now here's the fun part. You guys might get to answer a couple questions from the board. How's that sound? So we'll see who wants to. So I know that the board, come on out here, friends. Come on out here. Come right on out here. You're the stars of the show. There you go. There you go. All right, board, here we are. Here's our Jaguars from the video, and I know that they're going to be thrilled to answer any questions. We'll see who wants to step up. Maxton, you're going to be answering one today, I think, aren't you?
Okay, we're going to
We're gonna
open
get
this.
shy now.
Yeah, we're going to open this up to questions, and I see there's 7 Jaguars here, right? And there's 7 board members. So if I did my math right, probably each of us will have one question to ask each of you, or we might pick on 1 or 2 people, and they might have more than one. So, Jaguars, are you prepared to answer any questions that we might throw at you? Yes or no? With that, I'll turn the mic over to any of our board members that might have a question. Yes, Ms. Cotter.
Yes, this is open to any one of you Jaguars, but I guess I'm curious to know, what is your favorite special? Right here on the end. You raised your hand first.
Come on over. Hold on, Grace. Come on over.
We need to have the microphone.
Yeah, I got you.
There you go.
Go ahead, Grace.
So I really like art.
Very good. And one more little question. How many times do you get to go to art special once a week?
once, sometimes twice.
Ah, very good. Thank you for answering my question.
Excellent. 2 questions there. Anybody else have any questions? Yes, Ms. Pastana.
I was really interested in the 3D printer. Somebody tell me a little bit about it, what you do with it or what you've made with it.
I made an ice cream so I could put my pencil on top of the ice cream.
Oh,
Or the ice cream on top of your pencil or the pencil on top of the ice cream?
Under.
Under. Perfect.
interesting. Huh. How long have you had 3D printers?
That may be a Mr. Mahler question. About 4 years now.
And I think that's probably something that came out of the bond issue. Would that be appropriate?
Nice segue. Well done.
Okay. Always taking those opportunities to talk
Absolutely.
about the bond issue. Yes,
Anything else?
Ms. Dodd?
Yes. Okay, so it's the morning, and you look at the schedule. What do you do to change what you're doing in order to be ready for the special you're going to that day? I know I have an elementary school student, and every morning we look at the schedule and we say, is it art? Is it math? Or art? Is it tech? Is it PE? Is it music? And she changes stuff based on that. So I'm wondering, when you look at that schedule in the morning, what do you do?
I basically look and see what am I going to be doing in the special that I'm like looking at.
And do you start preparing yourself mentally a little bit for what's coming?
Yes.
I know tennis shoes are always a really important part in my house. What shoes are we going to wear if we have PE is a very important class. And I've also learned that for music teacher, there's certain T-shirts we like to wear. For art, certain shoes that she likes to wear. It's a whole thing with those long-term relationships with specials teachers, because you get to have them every year. They don't change. That's pretty great.
Super. Any other questions? Yes, Amy.
So I was amazed by the stop motion videos that you were creating. How many of you have created one of those? Was it super hard? No. Can you tell me what your process was?
So first thing we would do is she put out these boxes with stuff in it, and we would like just move the arms, take a picture, move it again, take another picture. It's a long process, but it turns out really well.
Yeah, it does.
I was really amazed by that. I didn't think we would do that in elementary school. That's amazing. Fantastic.
Another question, Mrs. Dodd?
I know it's recorder season at Kurtz Elementary School. Have you had an opportunity to play recorders?
Any of our parents want to answer that one?
How do we like recorders, parents? Do we take them home and play them?
We do tests, then like we have a day before the test, we practice. Then on the day of the test, we do our like music stuff first, then we do our recorded test.
Got it. Do you know songs on the recorder?
Yes.
What's your favorite one?
Hot Cross Buns.
Oh,
That's a pretty good one.
That's a classic.
that's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Any other questions? Yes, Jacob.
I noticed you guys had a lot of different opportunities with PE class. Is there a favorite sport that you got, any one of you guys have? Or something maybe that you picked up that you might not have learned had you not have had such a wonderful opportunity?
My favorite's bowling.
Tell us about it. What makes it your favorite, Paige?
It's that you get to work as a team.
Oh.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yes, Amy, you had another question?
How many of you are fifth graders? Okay, this is only for the fifth graders. Did you know that when you're done with your recorder after fifth grade, you can learn to play it with your nose? I'll leave it right there.
Thank you for that, Ms. Grzymkowski. We're really excited about that opportunity at Johnson, too.
That's funny. That's so funny. Yes, Ms. Cotter.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. G, if you'll help me with this, there's 2 students we haven't heard from yet, Kennedy here on the end, and the little lady in the black sweatshirt. I'd like to hear from them what is their favorite special at Johnson.
I like them all.
Good answer, thank you.
I really like art.
Okay, is there anyone else we haven't heard from? I think they've all had an opportunity. Thanks, Mr. G. This was a wonderful
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you.
Well,
Should we are we doing a photo op? Is that something?
Well, I do have a couple questions. All of you are very special, and all of you have done a wonderful job. And Dr. Salah over here, he made a comment as we were watching. He says, "Boy, sure is a lot different than when I was in elementary school." And I kind of stopped for a moment and said, "That was a long time ago that you were in elementary school." But I was just wondering, and I have a note right off the bat from a technology standpoint. You guys are doing so many wonderful things in technology that is beyond me. I was wondering, is there an opportunity for people my age to come into Johnson or after school to have some of this knowledge that you guys are getting already as first and second and third and fourth and fifth graders, even kindergarten?
Well, I think since that process starts at the front office, I'll take that one instead of the students. You are more than welcome to come in. You just show your badge at the front door.
All right,
Come
yeah.
on in. We'll sign you. We'll ask you what your reason for the visit is. It's to see technology, and we'll walk you down to Mr. Mahler's room anytime.
And I could have like a second or third grader walk me through because I feel pretty inadequate.
I think you can. I think we can work that out.
All right.
I have some leaders that I think will step up.
Well, and the other comment, does anybody else have any other questions or comments? The only other thing I want to point out is this. What you're doing right now in elementary school is so important because guess what? As you get older, you go on to middle school and high school. And the things that you're doing now that really are piquing your interest, you're going to be able to develop them even further in middle school and high school, and even into careers in all of these areas. We're a AAA school district. We always talk about that, academics, athletics, and the arts, okay? These classes that you're taking, I know because Kennedy is my granddaughter, we always talk about what special do you have today. But I'm going to tell you something. These classes are not special. These are important classes. They aren't special. They're integrated within our schools, part of our curriculum. And we, as a school district, feel that they're extraordinarily important. And these are things that are only possible because your moms and your dads and your relatives and your friends support the school district, because we are grateful to have them. And without the support of our community, it wouldn't happen. And we joked a little bit about the bond issue, all right? But it's serious. The things that you do in these classes are so important in the tools that we give you on a daily basis so that you can learn all of these things outside of the math and science and reading and things like that. Wouldn't be possible without your parents supporting us. So please make certain that you thank them for their support. Would you do that for us, please? Okay, thank you. Yeah, could we have the teachers, if you have, let's do a Johnson Elementary without the board right now of everybody from Johnson that's here today. And then we'll do something with the board if they would like.
real quick, Mr.
Yes, Dr. Salam.
Thank you. Before we leave this agenda item, I didn't want to do this prior to Mr. Janak taking the microphone because I know what he's like sometimes. So I wanted to take just a moment. It is common knowledge. I know Mr. G has shared with his families as well as with his staff that he will be retiring as principal at the end of this school year. And it's 10 years served to the Huron Valley Schools. It's no surprise to me that Josh got a nice ovation when he took the microphone because he's just a dynamic educator. And he's not only a dynamic educator, but he's an incredible human being. He's a remarkable person. We're very fortunate as a school district to have had him as a leader. And I count my last almost 6 years here as superintendent as very blessed to have the opportunity to work with him. He's good people. We're very fortunate to have attracted him to the district and for him to have given as much of himself as he has. And we're blessed and fortunate that while Mr. G is wrapping up his tenure as a principal at Johnson, we get to keep him for a little bit longer. And I plan to fully maximize that knowledge base and that skill set over the few months into next school year as we transition a new principal at Johnson and a new principal at Spring Mill. So Josh, thanks for everything you've done. We appreciate you, man.
And next, we have a...
That's why I waited till the end.
We also have one more school presentation, and that is from Oak Valley Middle School.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to travel back in time to a slideshow from Oak Valley. That was a fabulous presentation. And let me just say, I never want to follow little kids again. Middle school kids are not as interested in coming to a board meeting at 6 in the evening. But we are going to plow through and show you something that's very special to us. So those that, well, no, I've screwed up the whole thing. It's going great. Everything is going really, really well. Let's try this. A lot of the middle schools, all three of our middle schools are fantastic, and we all have a lot of similar things that we do as far as programming and the things that go on in each of our buildings. And I'm proud to say that Steve Digsby, Michelle Tchaikovsky, and myself work very well, very collaboratively together to make sure that the middle school experience is similar, regardless of which building you're at. But one of our points of pride that we have at Oak Valley is we have the autism program for the middle school level. And since April is Autism Awareness Month, it seemed appropriate that we focus some attention on our very special kids that we have in our autism classroom. And I do want to say one of the quotes that I found in researching some things for this month that we're doing within the building is, if you know one student with autism, you know one student with autism, because they are all so unique and they all bring such incredible individual gifts and challenges. One of the commonalities that we see is oftentimes our kids are faced with the challenge of social interaction. They may do great in science class, but they don't really want to talk to anybody. And so we have frequently talked about how we help them overcome that, how we help them to become more confident in speaking with others and speaking with strangers, speaking with their peers out in the classroom. And I'm pleased to say that our speech pathologist, Mrs. Roz Adams, who's with me here, came up with an idea earlier this year to introduce what we call the treat truck. And the treat truck is packed with goodies, and our kids go around to the teachers And they also go around to the seminar classes on specific days, offering kids and staff the opportunity to purchase snacks or a drink from the treat truck. And in doing so, it seems pretty simple, but for our ASD kids, they're handling money, they're counting, they're taking orders, they're engaging with people. One of the requirements, and Ms. Adams is usually behind them going, look at them, look at the person you're talking to encourage that back and forth interaction. They don't have prompts, they're not following a script. They're engaging in authentic conversations with staff, with other students, with each other. They have created a menu that they hand off to people that they can take a look at. They place their orders. They keep track of what their stock looks like and that sort of thing. And so the treat truck travels around. Our Gen Ed kids are thrilled when they see it coming to their seminar because they know they have an opportunity to get a snack that usually isn't offered to them. I am thrilled when they come by because I'll tell you, at 3, a Coke sounds fantastic on my desk, and that's not something we usually partake in. So when the treat truck comes around, we all, jump on board and talk with them. What else do you have? Do you have Pepsi? I usually ask that, and they're, we don't. Last week, one of the kids said, Mrs. D, we don't have Pepsi. Got to come up with some different questions, apparently, for when they come by. So here are some of the things that they engage in with the treat truck. I did our kiddos in action. They kind of shift around, and Ms. Adams can talk a little bit more about their responsibilities there. They shift around who's doing what. And I asked them, when some of the kids came around, and I said, we're going to talk about this at the board meeting. Tell me, what do you like about this? And one of my kiddos, Wyatt, was like, I like it. I like to talk to all kinds of kids. Elijah, my darling, said, I don't like the treat truck. I hate it. And I said, you hate the treat truck? I said, why? He said, I don't like talking to people. And I said, okay. I waited, and he came back and said, but I gained confidence by talking to people with the treat truck. I said, oh, okay. So it's a win in the end. He goes, yeah. He didn't want to admit it. But I can tell you at the beginning of this school year, Elijah would not have had that conversation with me. Period. Wouldn't have happened. He would not have had that conversation. So there's been tremendous growth for our kids. It also gets our ASD kids who are typically in a contained classroom out engaging with all of the staff members, with the kids all across the building, which we want to happen. We want that inclusion, we want that engagement with each other, and it's really happening because of the treat truck. And so I want to turn the podium over to Ms. Adams, and she can give you some details about it and perhaps answer any questions you may have.
Hi, so I'm Roz Adams. I'm the speech path at Oak Valley, also Lakeland and Harbor. So over the past few years, there's been a really big push in the autism community to do more neurodiversity affirming treatment. So I was really trying to figure out what can I do with these kids that feels natural and authentic. And thankfully I talked to a former ASD teacher. She's an Oak Valley and Lakeland parent, Danielle Eller, and she has a treat truck, and she told me all about it. And I said, oh my gosh, we have to do this. So like Mr. So said, we're working on those functional skills, communicating with people, working on your nonverbal, verbal communication, orienting body, tone of voice, voice volume, sequencing. So when someone orders first, I take their order. Then I go to the cash register. I make their change. I get the whatever they ordered. Functional math, functional literacy. So it's just really great to work on all these skills, but like I said, in this more natural environment. The kids take turns. Someone might be running the cash register while someone else is getting the supplies from the truck. They're also helping me stock it. Our autism program, we do community-based instruction. So we've done a few times going to Costco to restock, which has been good for them to work on. Like I gave them my debit card once. This is how you work a debit card. Other times we've taken stock. How much money do we have? Okay, so we have $88. Do we have enough to buy more Coke, more chips, and more cookies? So that's been a good opportunity as well. like Mr. So said, we sell to teachers, but we just started in the past couple months going to seminars and selling to peers, which I think has been huge for them. I see peers interacting with them more in the hall. Hi, Wyatt. Hi, Mal. The kids responding, just really enjoying being able to have some conversations with peers that they weren't having before. Like we mentioned, my student Elijah, when we first started, he would only go into the office. He did not want to talk to any students. He did not want anyone to see him. He'd only sell to Miss Durso, Miss Fraza. But now he'll go to classrooms. He's going into seminars, selling to peers. So just the growth he's made over 6 months has been phenomenal. And then just thanks to my admin and the teachers who let me kind of interrupt their teaching every once a week and knock, treat trucks here. I think it's just been a really great opportunity for the kids. And yeah, it's a cool program.
I just want to follow up with how fortunate we feel that we have the ASD program with us. Our ASD students add a dimension to our building that we would not have without them. They encourage all of our kids to think twice before judging, to be kind, and oftentimes our ASD kids receive more kindness than anyone else in the whole building from our kiddos. And so I think it is such a valuable program, and we are happy and honored to host that program and have ASD be a part of our building at Oak Valley. The treat truck has allowed staff and students who are not normally engaged with that classroom to see growth and change and development, and that has been a big boom for all of us. So our highlight, among many fabulous things and an incredible staff that we have at Oak Valley, is our ASD Kids for Autism Awareness Month. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I'd like to open it up to any board member that might have a question or comment. Yes, Laura?
I spent a little time in Oak Valley for a musical performance in your cafeteria at the end of March. And we walked around the hallway, and I really appreciated that the Autism Awareness Month stuff was up. And it wasn't just it's Autism Awareness Month. It was more, it went deeper. And I'm so glad that you popped in there at the end, because as valuable as this is for the students in the ASD program, it is also valuable for the staff and the students who are not in that program, because we all live together every day, and starting to learn what our responsibility is as citizens and friends and neighbors is really important. So without even anybody in the building, walking through the building, I could feel that there was a deep appreciation and responsibility to make sure everybody understood that it's not just awareness as a negative, that it's awareness as a we are all a school and a group of people who care about each other.
Thank you.
Outstanding comments. Anything else? Yes, Amy?
I just want to say thank you. I love this concept. I love that it is functional learning, but it's also very authentic. And I think those two words really, when you use them in your presentation, I thought absolutely. I work with folks with special needs, and I see some of the needs are being able to speak to, in our case, drivers, being able to have that financial wherewithal to provide funding for their rides. And as you lay the foundation in what would seem like a very small way, you are laying the foundation not just for that social interaction, but you're laying the foundation for their futures and adulthood and working and employment. And I am just so proud of this program. You guys really just knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much for implementing this and having the courage to implement it. Really fantastic. And Gracie did not tell me about the treat truck. I'm surprised because I'm pretty sure I would be asked for dollars.
We'll have to find out who her seminar is and make her teachers sign up.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, why don't you offer Pepsi?
Because Coke is what they sell at Costco.
Oh, well, that answers my
It's
question.
rigged.
But I do, I echo everything. I could say just ditto, because You explained and you showed us all the things that your autistic students have learned because of this, but I will say that the rest of the students at Oak Valley have learned just as much or more from your students. And as both Laura and Amy mentioned, it takes a whole building, whole village, and the lessons that all of the students at Oak Valley and throughout our school district are learning from each other are so important. And I think this is just an example of that. So thank you. Please pass on our gratitude to the rest of the staff. All right, yeah. Now comes the time that I always, after school presentations, students and parents, you have a choice. I'm going to go into a short recess, and you can stay and watch the rest of the meeting, or you may leave, and it's totally your choice, and we won't take offense either way. So with that, we're going to take a short recess. Thank you very much. I'd like to call this meeting back to order, or whatever order we had. Yeah. Superintendent's communication, Dr. Slob.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did have an extensive list of comments this evening, but I was just given the hook by Ms. Dodd, so I'm going to cut my comments in half.
So they're only going to be 20 minutes instead of
only
40.
45 minutes. Couple quick items regarding the bond this evening. So May 7th is the date that folks can actually go to the polls and vote. Actually, as many of you probably know by now, there have been changes in the law. So there is early voting, I think 9 days beforehand at 3 different precincts, and all that information is available on our website. There's a couple of questions that we've received that I want to share some responses to this evening, and I will be succinct. The first one that you see up here on the screen is related to Bond 2024 proceeds can only be used on projects, buildings owned by the district, so revenue stays in the Huron Valley Schools. The reason why I'm displaying this image is because the question we're getting is basically, hey, Dr. Slaw, why don't you use general fund money to pay for safety and security upgrades, modernizing the educational environment upgrades, infrastructure upgrades? And the bottom line is this: our general fund, our operating budget, while it can be used for safety and security, infrastructure, and modernizing the educational environment, by the time that we deliver the education that our children deserve, we have almost no money left over. And so our budget's roughly $100 million. About 85% of that goes to pay the employees that deliver the educational experience for our students, to drive them to school, to feed them lunch. And the remaining 15% is used for everything else: gasoline in our buses, the curriculum materials that we purchase, technology subscriptions that we have to renew on an annual basis, utility costs, heating and cooling, and all of those ancillary costs come out of the remaining 15%. So when you take that $100 million and you pay the employees and you pay for the ancillary items, there really is not a whole lot left over to pay for major renovations and or improvements that are needed within our facilities. So you'll see here what it can be used for. Bond dollars can be used for safety and security, construction, remodeling, purchasing of technology and equipment and infrastructure, furniture, site improvements, purchase of buses. It cannot be used for staff salaries and wages, general operating expenses, repairs and maintenance, classroom supplies and textbooks, and administrative costs. So for those of you who are in the listening audience, if you have any questions at all, do not hesitate to reach out to communications@hvs.org, and we are happy to respond directly to you with any questions that you have. Speaking of responding to questions that you have, we've added 3 questions to our FAQ, if you could put that up. I will point you to, if you visit our website, our FAQ is available for public consumption. Questions 32, 33, and 34 are all new questions that we added on April 10th, 2024. Question 32, can you tell me what the debt mill rate will be each year if the bond were to pass versus if it were not to pass, and what general outcomes you might expect? So the response to this is available for anyone who's interested to read online, but if you scroll down a little, you just see that table. That is the debt mill fall off for if the bond were to pass versus not be passed. And then the informational paragraphs that exist provide some context in terms of what will not happen should the bond not pass versus what will happen should the bond pass. So I would encourage you to go to our website, take a look at that if that's a question that you had. Question 33, could you please explain what the 1.92 millage rate compared to the 4.52 average millage rate calculation means under the ballot question informational section? So in the ballot question, you can imagine ballot language has a lot of legalese within its body. And so Frankly, ballot language is written by attorneys. They're not written by the school district as a, as a disseminator of information. So there's a lot of legal jargon that we have to follow. So we've tried to take that question and break it down to its simplest form so that any person can understand what that means specifically. And this is short, so I'm going to read it to you. It says, in 2026, this bond proposal will make up 1.92 of the 7 total debt mills that appear on your tax bills. Over the life of this bond proposal, the average mills generated will be 4.52 mills of whatever total debt millage is present, but the total will not exceed 7 debt mills. Therefore, it can be stated that the initial year, 2026, or any year forward, the debt mill rate will not exceed 7 mills under this proposal. Some of you are not interested in that question at all because it's very technical, but we've had it more than once, so we wanted to provide you with the information because we are being completely transparent. We want everyone to feel comfortable with any question that is posed. The bottom line is it's a 0 tax rate increase. Your tax rate will not increase over the current debt mill. That's what most people are interested in knowing. But if you want to get into the details, there it is. Final question, how will the bond 2024 dollars be expended from a general perspective at each level, elementary, middle, and high school, and district-based programs buildings? So if you see that extensive list that's up there, we literally took elementary, middle, high school, and gave you a breakdown of all the different categories that were submitted in the bond application. It's a state qualified bond application, meaning that essentially the state treasurer insures our bond, and that they've given us their sign of endorsement that these projects are needed and validated. That concludes my remarks this evening, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bottom line, this bond issue is a renewal of the existing bond rate that we presently have, 7.0, correct?
Our attorneys would say you're getting too technical there, but no, that's correct, Mr. Wiseman. It's basically a renewal of the current
And
tax
back
rate.
when our community supported the last bond issue, we said that millage rate would not go above or exceed 7.0 mils, and it hasn't.
That's correct.
At the same time, our committee of citizens who met back prior to 2019 identified over $400 million worth of projects that needed to be completed to bring us up to speed as a school district. We chose to go for less than that, significantly less than that, because we did not want to increase the existing debt millage. That's correct also.
Yes.
So we knew back in 2019, there would be a time that we would need to have an additional bond issue passed so that we could sell additional bonds, so that we could have continuous improvement, so that we could, as a district, remain competitive and provide the infrastructure, technology, safety and security, and all else that our students needed and our teachers needed to provide a quality education.
In the absence of those dollars, you wouldn't see any of the improvements that we have seen district-wide. We wouldn't have been able to do anything.
And really what caught me was that we have almost $100 million annual budget that provides the services to our students. 85% of that is people, because we're a service organization. If you think about it and you put it in perspective, the debt millage, the bonds that we sold several years ago that provided $200 million worth of improvements into this district that would never have happened without it, because we're one of the, I think, 13 states that require debt millage to go out and make improvements. Is absolutely a necessity, because if you took it in perspective, the improvements that we're living in with right now, the technology, the one-on-one, the safety and security infrastructure, all of those things that we've seen with no debt rate increase, we would in essence have to shut down for 2 years of providing programming for kids without this. Because our general fund is $100 million a year. So we'd have to basically shut the door for 2 years to use the general fund to do what we've done over the last few years.
Right.
That's ridiculous. But that's what we play. That's the situation we're in. And I, as a board member, and we as board members, without any violation of law, can say we absolutely need for people to get out and support this, because not only is this what our students deserve, our teachers deserve, but I, as a citizen of this community, feel it's extraordinarily important for our community to express the support of our community, which is our families and our students. And at the same time, I, as a senior citizen, recognize that my home is, in my case, my biggest investment. And you know what? If the value of my property goes up, that's a good thing, because that's a value. But at the same time, yes, the amount that 7.0 would generate and might have an effect on my personal taxes might go up. It pales in comparison to what the value of my property goes up. And that's true not only for school millages, but for police millages, fire millages, all those other types of millages. And at the same time, I think it's important to note that this bond issue, even if people that are concerned, you wouldn't see a decrease in your debt millage for 2 years, because this is a planning millage so that we can plan into the future, so that we can get things done that we need to get done to be competitive as a school district. So I just want to bring those things up. That was long-winded, and I apologize, but I think it's important for everybody to understand what this is all about and how important it is for our community. And it can't be spent on salaries or benefits. That is out of the general fund, and that's for the people that provide the services to our kids. And it's extraordinarily important to have those dollars available, because we have to attract and retain the very best staff that we possibly can for our kids. So please go out and vote. So with that, student leadership. Ms. Sana, do we have any student leadership today?
No student leadership.
Okay.
Jennifer will be happy that she doesn't have to follow them.
All right, association communication, Jennifer.
Just like Mrs. Durso didn't want to follow Johnson. Good evening. We have now completed a full week of term 4, and the school year is flying by. The next many weeks are some of the hardest for our educators as we navigate standardized testing, end-of-the-year activities that take us out of our classroom routines, and spring fever for both our staff and students. The fact that our teachers are able to still work their magic over the next 8 weeks as our students continue to learn important curriculum is amazing, and a tribute to their creativity and the many tools that they have in their toolbox to keep kids on track. Teacher Appreciation Week comes at just the right moment in early May, when we really aren't sure, right, if we can continue on, as April is stressful and exhausting, and June 12th seems really far away. So thank you in advance to all of our administrators, parent organizations who shower our educators with thanks, appreciation, and food. Your thoughtfulness does not go unnoticed, and being reminded each year how much we are valued and appreciated is priceless. Another spring tradition is our HVEA Outstanding Person in Education and our Friend of Education Awards. Our Outstanding Person in Education Award is always a difficult choice because we have so many amazing educators to choose from. We look for an educator who is a role model for others, an advocate for staff and students, a highly skilled educator, and someone who is active in our association and supports our membership. Over the past few years, we've awarded this honor to Bill James, Michael Head, and Heidi Utterbach. Our Friend of Education Award is given to community members who are fierce advocates of public education and support our educators in our Huron Valley schools. It's hard to choose each year, as our community is rich with businesses and individuals who support HVS. Over the past few years, we've recognized Brenda Granroth, piano accompanist, Mark Middlewood from Mesa Insurance, and Denise Forrest. The official award ceremonies to honor our 2024 recipients is coming up on May 1st. And at our May 6th board meeting this year, we will recognize the award winners right here so that you can congratulate them in person. Between now and then, you can do some thinking and guess who we might honor this year. And you can check on May 6th to see if you were right. Good luck with all your guesses, because we have so many eligible people to choose from. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Board correspondence, Secretary Pastana.
Nothing this evening.
Treasurer's report, Ms. Grisomkowski.
Just a quick report here. I just want to say thank you to our finance team and to Dr. Salah. We've had several questions regarding the financial implications of the bond. And both Mr. Van Gotham and Dr. Salah have spent many hours speaking with community members and getting into the weeds, if you will, about what's going on with the bond, how it would impact their business, how it would impact their residency as well as taxes. And I just want to say thank you. As we go into this election, it's an exciting time for our district. And I just appreciate the transparency that the front office has given to our community members. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Reports from board committee. First is executive committee. We have not met since the last board meeting. Our next meeting is April 30th. TLT committee.
I'm just reading is March 19th the last time we met? Okay. March 19th. TLT met, administration building, 432. Present were myself, Mr. Dimick, Ms. Cotter, Mr. Tavernier, Dr. Salah, Mr. Lindberg, Ms. Chastain, Ms. Thompson, Dr. Nemeth, Mr. Endicott, and our leadership, Paul Baker. There was no public comment. The regular agenda, we talked about school accreditation. The committee discussed the MDE continuous improvement process and the history of school accreditation, which is now provided through Cognia, a third-party vendor. The MDE has been working for years to create a state school improvement process that is rigorous, drives continuous improvement, and can be used to drive positive change within Michigan schools. Mr. McKenna joined the TLT subcommittee meeting to review some of these changes from a school perspective. As a result of enhancements, the MDE continuous improvement process, HVS is operationalizing the systems and eliminating redundancies and cost. And then in this way, our high schools will focus on the MDE process. We had a elementary science update. Mrs. Chastain provided an overview of the elementary science resources, including exploration in JK, Phenomenal Science in K2, and TCI, Bring Science Alive in grades 3 through 5. The digital licenses for Bring Science Alive are up for renewal, and it was recommended this item be added as new business for discussion at April 15th meeting. You'll see tonight. We talked about the summer extension program. Huron Valley will offer this at Kurtz Elementary, consisting of 2 3-week sessions for students in grades K through 5. New this year, we're expanding to the middle school for students grades 6 through 8, and it will be hosted at Muir Middle School. The program will be offered for identified students with a focus in math, reading, and writing, as well as additional extracurricular activities. Communications will be sent to staff and families beginning in April. Student leadership, Paul Baker from Lakeland shared a brief update on activities and events. They talked about the senior class preparing for the prom at Suburban Showcase. And Paul also shared support of the upcoming bond and efforts of student leadership to get out and vote. Mrs. Thompson shared the district continues to provide training and improved our processes for conducting threat assessments. In addition, the district is working with Oakland schools to plan professional learning for staff in the 24-25 school year, based on the National Association of School Psychologists Crisis Prevention and Response Planning, called PREPARE. Bond initiative, Dr. Salah shared he continuing to meet with various parent and stakeholder groups, and additionally there were 2 informational videos. The other items were computer purchase. Pricing for the computer purchase was released last week, and the updated exhibit is shared. It will appear as unfinished business tonight. Future meeting, the June 11th TLT meeting was moved to June 3rd, and there was a question about administrative guideline, which will be reviewed next time. We adjourned at 5:41, and our next meeting is tomorrow at 4:30.
Thank you, Mrs. Pastana. Any questions? Seeing none, finance and operations.
Finance and Operations met on Wednesday, April 10th at 8:08 a.m. in the Administration Building. Mr. Wiseman, Ms. Cotter, myself, Dr. Salah, Mr. Van Gotha, Mr. Reeby, Ms. Kerrigan, Ms. Meruskin, Ms. Timberlake, and Mr. Maxwell from Clark Construction, and Mr. Weinrock from TMP were present. We did not have any public comment. There are no consent agenda items for this evening, but we do have, I believe, 5 unfinished business. We have our bus purchases, that is out of the 2023 Capital Projects Fund in the amount of and each bus is in the amount of $143,969,000 from Midwest Transit Corporation, for a total purchase price of $1,008,658. Competitive pool scoreboards purchase. This is also out of the 2023 Capital Projects Fund. Also seeking approval from the board this evening. The total purchase price is $170,760 in each of our high schools. Timekeeping and attendance system. The group is looking at Time Clock Plus from Power Schools Group that would work in conjunction with our HR and payroll in the amount of $154,705 for the period of April 15th, 2024 through June 30th of 2025, with an ongoing annual fee of $47,301. And this project is funded by the General Fund and Special Revenue Fund, also seeking approval this evening. Bogey Lake Campus Powerhouse Bulletin. The committee also reviewed the Clark Construction letter of recommendation dated March 8th, totaling $867,807. This will be funded from the 2023 Capital Projects Fund. And last but not least, in our old business, we have the Lakewood ASD Playground. We looked at the quote from Snyder Recreation for this specialized playground in the amount of $77,782. This project is funded by the 2023 Capital Projects Fund. We had new business of the Apollo Playground. This is also coming from Snyder Recreation to supply a new play structure at Apollo Center. The total amount would be $150,058.72. Ms. Cotter was very good to note that there are spinning things and lots of swings. And that project will also be out of the 2023 Capital Projects Fund. The administration is seeking approval on May 6th board meeting. The Wright Bus Transportation Software Solution. The committee reviewed the sales quote from Bus Wright for the reoccurring annual service fee of $71,000 for a 3-year contract.
The administration will seek approval on May 6th. This project will be funded from the transportation categorical and state aid revenue. We did not have any safety and security updates. We did receive an update from Clark Construction on the various bid packs, as well as the contingency in each. In bid pack 10, which is our food service freezer, we were happy to note that those dollars will be moved to the food and nutrition excess fund spend down plan, as opposed to coming from our bond. The 2024 bond. Communication continues to receive emails from community members this past week, specifically on debt mills and dollar amounts to be spent at each middle school and high school. As a result, as Dr. Salah mentioned, they were added to the FAQ. Dr. Salah, Mr. Wiseman, and Ms. Dodd met with a community group within the district last Wednesday evening. And we did review the general fund budget to actual report dated February 29th. There were no concerns. The business office communicated with all departments and is working with them to scale back on their encumbrances. We had a brief discussion on the Oakland Schools ISD budget, and we will be looking for the administration's approval. Administration will be looking for approval, I should say, on May 6th board meeting. The water line resolution for Highland Township. Dr. Salah and Mr. Van Gotham have been working with council alongside Highland Township about a proposal that was received and will be sent to a private business owner. They will be bringing this to our next F&O meeting, and we'll have more information on May 1st. Further discussion items. Mr. Van Gotham met with Ms. Weeks regarding our music band and theater groups. They want to make sure that they feel supported, and approval has been given for ordering items, and acoustical panels will go out for bid in the summer to support each of our high schools. Mr. Wiseman is meeting with community member Mr. Salvia regarding the Memorial Day Parade and offering transportation assistance to veterans due to the closure of Central Park and the rerouting of the parade. This will be communicated to transportation with more details to follow. And lastly, the district is scheduled to pay the 2022-2023 bond principal amount in April of 2024. Our meeting adjourned at 9:29 a.m. Our next meeting is May 1st at 8 a.m.
Thank you very much. Any questions? Seeing none. Communications, marketing, and legislation.
Yep, our last meeting was on, I'm not seeing a date, hold on. March 19th, 2024, at the Administration Building, called to order at 2:40. Present were myself, Treasurer Grzymkowski, Member Cotter, Ms. Rothler, Dr. Salah, and Kim Willis. There was no public comment. Regular agenda, 2024 bond. Bond signs are in all of our schools in the district. Bond information has been shared on social. New videos have been posted to help answer questions. Committee suggested resharing the video of each of us voting, and why we said we were going to support the bond, just to give a little bit of information to the community about what we were thinking when we passed it initially. Committee suggested making a video showing what the district got from the last bond. Next, we talked about junior kindergarten and kindergarten parent orientation. Communication shared that schools thought orientation went very smoothly, and they're happy admin was present in each building. Also had the senior appreciation lunch. The committee talked about feedback and possible changes for next time, expand vendors, bigger space, more cake. Next, HVS Teacher of the Year. Actually, more cake was a real issue. We need more cake next year. It's not just cute, it's for real. HVS Teachers of the Year, surprises were presented, and a video that we saw this evening from each teacher were filmed and edited. Safety and security, communication is finalizing the next recon management visit schedule. Legislative communication, the committee talked about a few decisions on the state level. We talked about graduation and the possibility of a guest speaker, and we adjourned at 3:41 p.m. Next meeting is tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. at the Administration Building. I would like to give a special shout out to the communications team. They have been doing a lot of heavy lifting during this and making sure no no one feels like their question is stupid and that they're getting good, quality, solid, factual answers. It is a lot's coming in, and we're making sure that all of those questions are answered on a timely manner and publicly so everybody can see it. So thank you very much to the communications team for that.
Thank you, Vice President Dodd. Any questions, comments? Seeing none. Public comments. Mrs. Cadell, were there any public comments? Next on the agenda is consent agenda. We have 3 exhibits: approval of minutes, approval of summary of expenditures in the check register, and the approval of the personnel report. May I have a recommendation to approve the consent agenda?
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda A, B, and C as presented.
All right, do I have a
And
second?
I'll support that.
All right. Motion made by Member Dodd, seconded by Member Cotter. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, could I have a roll call?
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes?
I am a yes. Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
There weren't any.
Ms. Grisomkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
And Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next, Section 5 is unfinished business. We have a number of items here. All these items were presented at prior board meeting under new business. And the Board of Education had an opportunity to review them and provide any questions or give any questions to administration as it relates to that. So first one is computer purchase. I will entertain a motion in a second and then open up any questions if there are any. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the computer purchase as presented in Exhibit B.
All right, can I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Member Dimick, seconded by Member Pastana, correct? Any questions regarding this? Seeing none, could I have a roll call?
Mr. Dimick?
I'm a yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Grisomkowski? Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next, B, bus purchases. May I have a motion, please?
I'll move the Board of Education approve the bus purchases as presented.
All right. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Motion made by Michelle and seconded by Amy. Could I have any questions? Sorry. Seeing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Grisomkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, competitive pool scoreboard purchase. May I have a motion?
I'll move that the Board of Education approve the competitive pool scoreboard purchase, Exhibit D.
Any questions?
I'll
Or
second.
seconded, I'm sorry.
I'll second it.
All right, any questions? Seeing none, may I have a roll call?
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Ms. Grisomkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, timekeeping and attendance system, Exhibit E. May I have a motion?
I'll move that the Board of Education approve the timekeeping and attendance system as presented.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Member Ryan. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, could I have a roll call? Oh, I'm sorry, Jacob.
Just one quick one. We were just kind of I had a few questions already around this, but one that I failed to follow on was this is replacing our current system that is throughout all of our district, correct? I guess it's kind of.
Yeah, we don't
towards
really even
Jefferson
have a
as
system.
well. Okay.
That's it's paper, basically, so we're moving to electronic, yeah.
Which is much better.
Any other comments, questions? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. Could I have a roll call?
Sorry. We're just thinking, moving from the old days to the new days. Ms. Grisomkowski?
Yes.
Ms. Ryan?
Yes.
Ms. Cotter?
Yes.
I am a yes. Mr. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Dodd?
Yes.
And Mr. Wiseman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next, Exhibit F, Bogey Lake Campus Powerhouse Bulletin. May I have a motion?
I'll
move that the Board of Education approve the Bogey Lake Campus Powerhouse Bulletin as presented.
Do I have a second?
I can support.
All right. Motion made by Member Grznkowski, seconded by Member Pastana. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, could I have a roll call?
Ms. Grzymkowski.
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
And Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And Exhibit G, Lakewood ASD Playground. May I have a motion?
Sure, oh, go ahead, Jacob.
I'll make a motion that the Lakewood ASD playground be approved, Exhibit G be approved.
And I'll support that.
All right, we have a motion by Member Dimick, seconded by Member Cotter. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, could I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Dimick.
Yes.
Ms. Cotter.
Yes.
I am a yes. Ms. Dodd.
Yes.
Ms. Ryan.
Yes.
Ms. Grzymkowski.
Yes.
Mr. Wiseman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, unfinished business, that is completed. But I am going to make one comment that A, B, C, E, and F, the only unfinished business item that was not paid for out of the bond issue was the timekeeping and attendance. And if you take a look at that, the computer purchases allows us to, this was really not any new computers, this was to replenish the computers that we presently have, not only for our teachers, support staff, but it also includes continuing the one-on-one technology that we have for our students. None of that would have been possible unless we had taken it out of the general fund, and I think that just reinforces once again that if we didn't have the bond issue, we would have to make some hard decisions as it relates to opportunities for kids at the expense of the technology that our students deserve. So I think that's important. The other piece was the buses. How many buses are we purchasing? How many? Seven. And approximately how much does each one of those buses cost? 7 times $145,000, almost $1 million. We have to get the kids to school. That's a must-have. If we didn't have the bond issue, if it's a must-have, where would it come from? We wouldn't either be able to transport those children, or we'd have to take it out of the general fund at the expense of programming. So those are just two examples of the importance of the bond issue. And in both of these items, within the next bond issue, we have a significant amount of emphasis on technology and transportation. New business, elementary science resource. Dr. Slav.
Thank you, and I would ask Mr. Tavernier to handle this agenda item.
Yeah, so I'm going to invite Mr. Lindberg and Mrs. Chastain up to the podium, but just a real quick update. Back in 2018-19, the district adopted the TCI resources for our elementary science curriculum, and so we are looking at renewing some of those licenses. So tonight's presentation is just a little brief update. It's not real long. We'll keep it short, but just an update on where we are with our elementary science program and the proposal we're bringing forward under new business tonight to the board. Mr. Lindberg.
Thanks. Sorry, this microphone, it's like someone moved it around or something. So thanks you guys for having TLT here tonight. It's our opportunity to share with the entire group what we shared with the TLT subcommittee several weeks ago about elementary TCI science and where we're going with that. And so myself and Kristen Chastain will be sharing some information with you tonight. First slide we wanted to include is something that as board members, veteran board members, you should recognize this slide because this is our JK-12 science vision for Huron Valley Schools. And this is something that we put up all the time when we come in front of you because it's something that we've worked collaboratively as a department with our teachers around the district and we're all committed to, and it's something we kind of utilize and frame out and think about as we're looking at resources and so on for our students. So I won't read the whole thing, but a couple things I really want to point out. One, integrating all three dimensions. We don't have it listed there, but DCIs, that's disciplinary core inventions, and then SEP, science and engineering practices, and then CCC, cross-cutting concepts actually DCI, disciplinary core ideas. Sorry about that. But the thing about this about this vision in notice the big thing is we really want students doing science no matter what grade level they're at, from JK all the way up through 12th grade. And so when you think about it, we're trying to make science meaningful, thinking about science and engineering, and we've developed instructional strategies to support that, and providing multiple opportunities for sense making for the students. And so we always want to start with this so that you guys see that information and kind of have that in the back of your mind here as we move forward with that. So again, we're talking specifically about grades 3 through 5, but just an overall science review. At the junior kindergarten level, we have our exploration resource that supports our curriculum there. And then at the kindergarten through 2nd grade level, we have phenomenal science. I know we came in front of you guys last year and we talked about that, and that was approved. And this is actually the first year that phenomenal science has been fully implemented at the K2 level. And again, that incorporates all physical, life, and earth science. And then this year, even though we've had TCI bring science alive since the 18-19 school year, we're coming back to you for renewal. So at this point, I'm going to turn it over and let Kristen tell you a little bit more specifically about each of the grade level curriculum, and then also how that resource relates to it, and a little bit more about the resource itself.
Thanks for having us in today. We're excited to be here to share about this renewal and our 3-5 science resource. So I'm going to show you 3 slides over these next few, and they'll review the different units that our 3rd grade, our 4th grade, and our 5th grade cover. And all 4 of these units will cover life science, earth science, and physical science. So 3 different concepts over those 4 units. And we have that little picture in the corner there because what TCI does really nicely is give opportunities for students to work with materials in a hands-on way. They get excited about those explorations. They're able to share about the science learning they're doing at school with their families. And it gives students that feeling of really working like a scientist with those science concepts. So we have our 4th grade units listed, and then in the corner I put an anchoring phenomenon picture because each of our units is anchored with a phenomenon. So it might be a picture, it might be a video, some kind of way for the students to think and wonder and get excited about the learning that they'll be engaging with during that unit. So in this case, I see 4 different pictures of animals, and all of their eyes kind of are in different ways on their bodies. So the students might be wondering, like, why are those eyes in different places, and how does that impact that animal? And it really guides them through the lessons and through the learning of that unit, always tying back to that anchoring phenomenon. So our 5th grade units are listed here. And we wanted to note what a nice job TCI does at having the students not only work with those grade level disciplinary core ideas, but also allow the students to engage in those science and engineering practices where they're asking questions, they're developing models, they're, what else are they doing with science? Engaging in argument with each other to defend their thinking, make models and then revise those models again. And also, TCI does a nice job of embedding those cross-cutting concepts where students are thinking about patterns in their science or cause and effect, and how those concepts kind of weave throughout all of their learning in those units. So we wanted to show you a little bit deeper dive into what a unit looks like and how it's structured. So starting with that anchoring phenomenon, students are thinking and wondering and getting those initial thoughts or questions in their minds. And then each lesson has them working with the science in some way. They might be investigating some kind of phenomenon that's related to the anchoring phenomenon. Maybe they're drawing models in their science notebook. They might be filling out a CER, a claim evidence reasoning, about the learning that's taking place through those investigations, always tying back to that anchoring phenomenon, and finishing with a performance assessment where students are then connecting all of those learning experiences with making sense and explaining why the phenomenon is the way it is. So in this example, it has the Appalachian Mountains. So students are wondering about why the Appalachian Mountains are developed the way that they are, and they're investigating fossils and why some water animal fossils are up on land, and they're drawing models in their notebook and trying to build sense of that phenomenon, and then tailoring back to that anchoring phenomenon at the end to explain what they've learned. So now, thinking about that purchase that was made back in 2019, a lot of materials are required for science. So teachers were outfitted with a lesson guide. We have student textbooks, some blackline masters that can be copied, picture cards, maps, primary sources that the students are interacting with. We know science requires materials, so each grade level is outfit with a materials kit that TLT replenishes as needed. And then they had teacher digital licenses and student digital licenses. And those are in red because that's what we're here talking about renewing today. So I want to talk a little bit more about those digital licenses because the opportunity that those licenses give is amazing. So for teachers, there's online lesson plans, planning tools, presentations that can be shared in the learning space with the students. Now, the online text that students have accounts to have interactive reading tools where they can digitally highlight or define a word just by clicking on it. They can have the text simplified if they're not quite at that reading level and need it at a level that fits better for them. By simply toggling over, they can access those resources in a way that meets their individual needs. There are videos, simulations, games for them to work with the materials that they've learned and demonstrate with their understanding right within that online resource. There are interactive lesson notes, so there might be some reading or a video, and then they can interact, write their thoughts, type them in, or manipulate the page in some way to demonstrate their understanding. There are projects and there are assessments available to our teachers. The Spanish immersion is pretty impressive where we can just toggle and the whole text turns to Spanish for those students or those families who want to support their students but maybe need that level of support. There's differentiation for all our English language learners, not just our Spanish students. Special education, our below grade level readers. I talked about how you can just change the text to make it accessible. And projects for our advanced learners to interact with. Really, the opportunities within that digital license is pretty endless. And it all integrates seamlessly with Google Classroom, which all of our teachers use and have. So hopefully I painted a picture of what's available on that digital license. So let me turn it back over to Martin and he'll talk about the purchase.
Thank you. So again, as we've shared, we are recommending that the Board of Education approve this 6-year TCI elementary science license for both teachers and students in grades 3 through 5. Again, this represents the 85 teacher licenses for the district and then the 1,700 grades 3 through 5 student licenses for the district.
Any questions? Yes.
I will say, as a parent of a fourth grader who is doing this, I have seen a real love of science these last few years. So, and great study guides coming home and good response, retention of information. So we're going through getting ready for the test, and there isn't a lot of work we have to do. So it seems to me that what she's been working through in this phenomenal science is really, really clicking. So I think this is really important, and especially the ability to have it do Spanish and lower the reading level, all the things that we really need to have a teacher have at their fingertips for different learners. So I think it's great.
Yes.
Well,
Ms.
our
Cotter.
TLT, of course, we had an opportunity to preview tonight's presentation, and it was done equally as well, in fact, probably a little more in depth, because we had an opportunity as a committee to ask some real good questions. And one of the questions I had asked, actually two, not only is our students more involved with science, they're testing better in science. So I just want you to know this has been money well spent, and I do believe this would be a good purchase for us.
Any other comments, questions? I have a couple. No, I appreciate the comments, but we first adopted this back in 2019, and we have licensing that came along with that. During the course of this period of time between 2019 and 2023, 2024, have you seen continual updates as it relates to the various activities or opportunities for kids during that time? Have they stayed current, or has it pretty much been the same?
Yes, to staying current, we're still working within the most current copyright also. So as they improve their product, we have instant access to whatever they improve.
So
And
as they improve it during this licensing period,
Yes,
we're taking advantage of that.
Exactly.
Okay. The other observation, probably consistent with my theme tonight, this purchase is $105,000 for the licensing software. That comes out of that 15% you were talking about, because this is not something that we can purchase out of the bond issue. Correct? But that's an example of how that 15% outside of salaries and benefits are used. So when people ask, well, why can't you? Well, then it gets down to these types of decisions. The other 15% supports the direct instruction of kids in the environment. So, all right, thank you very much for your presentation. And this will come to the board for approval at the next board meeting.
May 6th.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda, go ahead, Dr.
Next,
Salam.
we have the Apollo Playground, and I will invite Mr. Van Gotham to speak to Exhibit I.
Thank you, Dr. Salas. So in July of 2022, the district purchased a lot of elementary level playground equipment. One of the buildings that was not updated was Apollo Early Childhood Center. So what we've done is had input from staff as well as administration at the building. We've stayed within our budget that we were using for the other elementary schools. And we've come up with pricing on some pieces of equipment that the building is excited about. So again, this is a first read, but we're looking for a total of about $150,000 to be approved so that Apollo can get some new playground equipment this summertime. And again, this is a first read. We'll be seeking approval at the next board meeting.
And if anybody on the Board of Education has any questions, similar to what we do with other new business items, please direct them to Dr. Salah or to Mr. Van Gotham. Next is Bus Right Transportation Software Solution. Dr. Salah?
Thank you. I will ask Mr. Van Gotham to handle Exhibit J as well.
Thank you, Dr. Salas. So the district always requires routing software for our 99.6 square miles of ground that we cover, not only for our buildings, but also for transportation. For the longest time, the district has used Polyplot, which is a outdated system that is no longer even supported through Oakland schools, as it's now under the Wayne Risa umbrella. And so the district took this as an opportunity to look at some other software solutions that might be beneficial for us as a district. We had the opportunity as an administration team to see a couple presentations, and then the co-team had an opportunity to see Bus Right in particular. A lot of features that make this really second to none when you're comparing it with other service providers. And again, we're really thankful to the voting community who allows us to get categorical dollars, including the transportation money that we received this year and for next year as well. And so we're thinking of upgrading to Bus Right, which will do a lot of things to improve efficiencies within the department, as well as providing families and parents with reliable or upgraded parent communication. So as a real quick example, if one of the buses we know will be running 10 to 15 minutes late, on the tablet that the bus driver will have, they can actually push a quick notification out to parents. And so in real time, because this product actually updates every 2 seconds, that these parents will be able to have, I mean, obviously information is king, and as fast as possible is best for everybody. So the ability to not have to call back to the transportation garage to send something to communications to then send to families. This will already be a message received by parents, and it'll be in real time, which is the expectation these days. So we're really excited about this product. Again, this is a first read. It's going to be about $71,000 a year, and for the first 2 years at least, we have a transportation categorical that will cover the cost of this, and And that was really the intent with the categoricals, to give ourselves opportunities to not only pay for the expenses we have in transportation, but present with new opportunities as well. So, again, just a first read, but happy to take questions over the next couple weeks.
Any questions at this time? Ms. Pastana?
I don't know if you can give me an answer tonight, but I recall a few years ago, like maybe 5, we had that parent app that we were kind of excited about, but then it ended up not working. Do you have any research or any information about this new one and how you think? And again, if you don't know it tonight, that's fine, you can get back with me. But I remember having that discussion, like I said, about 5 years ago, about a different parent app. I don't know anything about technology, but.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was a part of that app
Yeah.
that we were excited about 5 years ago as well. I can tell you that this particular software solution is in 24 states, and there are several hundred school districts who are already using this product, a couple within the state of Michigan. So part of my homework from finance and operations was to see some, they obviously are happy to provide references. I think I'm going to do some reference checking. Again, the software example was outstanding, and so that'll be some of the homework between now and the next board meeting, and I'll be putting that in board notes for you guys to see. But yeah, we definitely don't want to. We want to improve, but the biggest piece is all the stuff that'll be on the back end for us as a district.
Yeah.
The parent piece will be something that we could roll out at any point in time. We want to get familiar with the software first, but I appreciate the question, and I'll provide some additional data for all the board.
Perfect. Thanks, Jeffrey.
Anything else? Seeing none? Next on the agenda is additional public comments on non-agenda items. Seeing none. Good and welfare. Yes, Ms. Dodd?
Quickly, I mentioned earlier that the Marketing Communications Committee meeting was going to be at the admin building tomorrow. I am wrong. It will be at Lakeland. So if you were planning to join us, come over to the new Lakeland LGI. That's where we'll be having our meeting tomorrow.
Great, thank you. Anything else? Yes, Lindsay?
Yes, I am our ambassador to our transportation department, one of the best side jobs being a board member. But anyway, this May, our Huron Valley Transportation Department is going to host the annual bus rodeo. Anyway, and I think it is the first weekend of May, but the objective of this competition is all regional, state, and the International School Bus Driving Championships also. The primary purpose of this, besides the little competition, is an actual behind-the-wheel program to test the driver's ability as to the handling of the bus in various situations, the judging of clearance and distance, the rules and regulations pertaining to school bus operation, and the motor vehicle code, and in general, proper bus procedures. This driving championship also provides the opportunity for our school bus drivers to apply their skills in a classroom atmosphere. For your information, Huron Valley placed first in 2022 for the team portion, taking first and second in the individual competition. And last year, Huron Valley took first as a team and swept both first, second, and third individually. Now, I'm reaching out on behalf of our transportation department, because every day they are transporting our future of America. But this year, Huron Valley staff members as well as volunteers from all over the county will be donating time in preparation for this event as well as the day of the event. They are in need of some monetary donations to cover the cost of food and door prizes, and they would also appreciate a donation of a gift basket or maybe another item that they could use for a raffle. Anyone willing to help support this, they can drop a check off to Huron Valley Schools at the Transportation Department, or certainly give them a call and they'll make arrangements to pick it up. But our bus drivers have participated in this, and it's bringing it home. I'm glad they're able to sponsor it this year. So keep it in your thoughts. This is one of our Huron Valley events that I personally like to donate to. So thank you.
Thank you for the information, very much appreciated, and the work that the services that our bus drivers do on a daily basis is absolutely enormous. Anything else for good and welfare? Well, due to the time, I will say this. We had an opportunity, there are three of us, Denise, Laura, and myself, and Dr. Salah also attended. We represented Huron Valley School Board and the Huron Valley's community at our National School Board Association's conference last weekend. And it was very worthwhile. We also, for the second year in a row, we were, as a team, Dr. Salah, myself, along with Denise and Laura, were able to present a very worthwhile topic. It was reestablishing trust with your community in the midst of turmoil and hardship. It was a case study in action. It was very well received. It's an honor and it's a privilege to represent all of us at the National Convention. It was well attended. A lot of positive comments were given to us, and a lot of interest was brought forth. We also attended a lot of different breakout sessions, and we were prepared to talk about it, but we're going to, if it's all right, we'll delay that to the next meeting and go into a little bit more detail as it relates to what we attended, and also provide us an opportunity to share information with the rest of the board. So, is there anything else for good and welfare? Yes, Amy.
Just one thing, don't forget Lakeland High School is presenting Descendants this weekend. It should be a lot of fun. I'm sure you can sing along as well. And if you have a teenager, preteen, they know all the music.
Great, thank you very much. Anything else? Seeing none, this meeting